كلنا الجيش. ايوه صح. اوكي طيب واصل. طيب شفنا الكنترول سكوب، كنترول شيدول، كنترول كوست. قلنا the best way to control الثلاث حاجات دي through the earned value. The earned value management to combine all three better than reporting on them يعني as separate items. Okay?
Sorry بس البرفورمانس داتا هي earned value or not؟
performance data هي reports. يعني yes يعني performance data could give you مثلا this value in actual cost. Okay? Performance data will give you مثلا ممكن earned value نفسه يكون جزء من performance data. So you have people on site evaluating the work created and reporting on it. يعني this data بتجي من خلال performance data. Performance, yes. The invoice, the reports, the progress reports, so many things. Exactly, yeah. And sometimes you can even audit your reports. So if you don't have any confidence in the reports, you can have a independent party going specifically the earned value. Then the reports might not be accurate. So you might want to have an auditor even to do that. Okay, now we move to quality. We have the quality person here or no? No? Quality? مين كان مسؤول من quality؟ لا stakeholder. طيب
كلهم without quality no work.
Okay, so anyway let's explain quality. So quality, as we mentioned in our plan, we specified the metrics, okay, or the level of customer satisfaction or the fitness for purpose. By when we said quality is determined by who? Determined by who? Quality. Who determines quality? Client mainly, right? I'm not talking here about safety. Quality related to the product. The client decides it, okay? But the client themselves, when they do the quality definition, we as project managers need to be able to manage the client's expectations when they talk about quality by a number of things. So a client talking about quality, okay, and just thinking what they want, we as project managers, we have to have some limits, exactly, to make sure that we keep that quality within what? The first important limitation we have is related to the project objectives. Okay, so if the client is asking for a car, a project to construct or produce a car, okay, and so we're sitting down with the client collecting the requirements and the quality. So he said, I really want to have this car this way and that way, and I want it to actually be able to fly. Excuse me? It's a car. It's a car, it's not a plane. Okay, so can you please cancel that? Okay, fine. So we don't just let them dream and dream and dream, right? The other component is, you mentioned it, which is the budget or the cost. Right? So we have to again make sure that his or their thinking, right, is exactly. What else? What are the other components? The schedule of the project, yeah? Because we don't want quality procedures that will take ages to complete. What else?
Or sometimes vice versa. Sometimes clients say, I want it in very short time. So you can
the same thing.
Same thing.
Yes.
Same thing.
Yeah, it works both ways.
Both ways. Time, this is you are inputting overdosing the resources.
Right.
Overdosing resources means you are outsourcing. Outsourcing means additional money.
Right. Okay. What else? What other things?
There is a risk factor.
The risks, definitely. Yes. Okay. And even sometimes the skills, okay, of the people you have with. So there are many things. There isn't a set number of parameters, but you have to always think that quality should be regulated by a number of these parameters in order to come up with something realistic, okay, and valuable. Right. So when we start executing our project, we initiate two processes, QA and QC. And we mentioned, we said QA is while we are creating this product, Okay, all the things we do here is
Control.
no QA.
Assurance.
Yeah. Right. So the training, the equipments, the maintenance, the follow-up, the procedures, the rules, ISO, applications. Exactly. Right. These are all QA. Right. Product is ready, and before we send it to the client, we do QC. Okay. So QC, like mentioned yesterday by I think Ahmed,
Like checklist.
but yes,
Checklist. Yes,
exactly.
checklist.
Right? In both cases, we use techniques such as inspection. Right? So they both include inspection. So we inspect here, we look at things, we use the different quality tools we have, okay, to actually carry out all the quality work we have. Okay? Now, this is an area where whenever we see a process here in the execution, I as a project manager always prefer to use people from operation to do these things. Right? Why? Because they are specialists in this area. And I'll concentrate on the control. So that's why you can see here, this is an area where there is a scarcity of processes. And whenever there's a process, if you look at these processes carefully, you realize that these are processes done by operation. So if I have a quality department, they can take care of the QA. They follow up the ISO application, the documents, the form. They can help me as a project manager, right? And I can concentrate on the QC more. Okay, so this is the quality. And remember yesterday we said something about the difference between quality and no, when I said what, give me all the words for quality, and I took away things like excellent, nice, beautiful.
Yeah.
So we said there's difference between quality and grade. Okay, difference between quality and grade. Okay, so if I have a Chinese phone, okay, this Chinese phone is made in China. It has all the functionality I need. It's a quality phone, but it's low grade, but it's quality. Why? Because it's fit for purpose. It has all the things I have. So we have to make sure that we use the right terms in the project management context environment. Okay? So that's
But not always.
important.
Not always.
Not always what?
The Chinese maybe good one.
Yeah, I'm talking about the cheap phones, for example, right? That people say, oh, this is the low
In
quality.
terms of
this is low
cost. In
quality.
terms of cost.
Yeah. Because what I love about China, have you been to China, anyone? When you go to China, to Guangzhou, okay, to buy anything, we go a lot there because I have a sports business, so I do sports shoes.
Small shops inside.
Huh?
So there is small shops in markets.
Yeah.
Every shop can sell this one by 100, else it can be two by 1,000 riyal.
Exactly.
Whatever you need to.
Exactly, right? And it's very nice. They tell you, you go sit there. Hello, sir. Have a seat here. So, what do you want? You say, okay, I want. Let's say I'm going to buy things for my school. So I say, I want 1,000 desks, 1,000 chairs, and I want 50 whiteboards. Okay, 5,000 markers, and so on. Right? So they tell you, okay, 2 questions. They tell you. Okay, tell us what you want: school, hospital, football club, or theater. يعني ورينا انت عاوز الحاجات ليه. Okay, and how much money do you have? هنبيع لك بس. اوكي، فانت تقول لهم سكول $50,000. يروحوا يجيبوا سكول ولا $50,000. يجي حد ثاني يقول لك سكول $1,000,000. يجيبوا لك سكول $100. ممكن حاجه موجوده في الصين كله
In one place.
بالظبط. alright, so you just
Guangzhou.
Guangzhou اسمها المدينة، أيوة Guangzhou اللي هي المدينة الصناعية. So they have this range of grains. Okay, range.
He will accommodate
بالظبط.
all the type of people.
Yeah, exactly. But it's very funny. Sometimes they have very funny. Yesterday I went to the sports shops جنب الهوتيل هناك في الشارع اللي جنبي. فاروح اخد دايما العيال بيحبوا الملابس الرياضيه كده، فرحت اخد هاي التريننج سوت. فلقيت واحده لارج وواحده ميديوم. فقلت له يا اخي الميديوم دي شويه يعني يمكن صغيره، جيب لي واحده لارج. So he gave me a large. لما قارنت اللارج بالميديوم لقيت اللارج اصغر من الميديوم.
لا
فده guy the shop owner the shopkeeper is Yemeni. والله هذول اللي الصينيين يلعبون بينك. لما كنا لقيناه اصغر من الميديوم.
صورها
Okay, so this is quality. Now let's move into HR. In the human resource, here we did our resource assignment matrix, remember, with the roles and responsibilities. We have our project organization structure set out, okay? But this org structure in the planning is set out using the roles. So I have team leader 1, team leader 2, team leader 3, okay? Electrical engineer 1, electrical engineer 2, electrical engineer 3, mechanical engineer. So I don't have names, I only have roles, okay? In execution, I go and I do three things. I acquire the team, means what? I will bring here Wahib, Mazen, Osama. Okay, here I will put Abdul Hamid, Sulaiman, so I'll put names and I will acquire these team members into my team. Now, this process of acquiring the team, okay, can happen a lot earlier if you are lucky or unlucky. When can this happen? Charter. No, even earlier. When the charter is issued, the charter could be issued with your name as project manager along with the names of the people working with you on the team and the company you will use in terms of labor, in terms of electrical, in terms of consultancy. So this could be specified here. Okay? But as we said, it depends. Sometimes it's good. It saves you the trouble of going to find people to work with you on the project. But sometimes it's bad. Why? Because يفرضوا عليك يعني a group of people or a company that you don't like working with. Okay? You're forced to work with them. Right. Once you have these people on board, Mazen, Usama, Ihab, everyone is on board, you as a project manager have the what? The responsibility to develop your team. Okay? So let's just look into this process that is important. Got developing the team, managing and developing the team. Okay, so acquire the team is the first one, is where you have to get the staff assigned to your team. Now here, you just go back a little bit. When it comes to acquiring the team, let's say I want to go and get a consultant or an electrical engineer to work on my project from a different department. So this guy is reporting to Usama, okay? And me and Usama are not in good terms, okay? So I go to Usama and I tell him, can I please have Wahib to work with me on my project? And Wahib is your best engineer. Will you release him? You tell me خد
حتى لو أسوأ واحد
Okay? But if Usama is forced by the senior management to make a decision, so he says, Usama, we want an engineer to work with a project, and he says, take Fulan. What do you think of that Fulan? That Usama immediately said, take him.
The worst.
The worst. Definitely the worst. Usama مش مصدق.
هو عايز يقفل بس مش عارف.
خدوا فلان.
خلي معك.
Exactly, right? Now, sometimes you can have a virtual team. Virtual team means what?
Creating.
Virtual. Assumption in terms of what? So the team doesn't exist?
From their experience, they have done so much experience.
Okay, virtual means what?
Not about the matrix organization.
Team exists. Team exists.
Matrix.
You can, the people are there, and once you need them, you go to their homes and take them out.
Okay, but is this a virtual team? Virtual means what?
محاكاة أو
ايوه
simulation كده
فيرتشوال يعني ايوه افتراضي exactly. So team افتراضي يعني so with here I have a team, I have a development team based in India, and my designers are based in US, and my, let's say, auditors are based, so this is called a virtual team. They don't physically exist,
But they are working for the
but they're working for the project. Yeah, we call that a virtual team. And this is a new approach in project management because it saves huge amount of cost, especially for IT companies. If you want to develop a software, why do you need to fly in developers to Saudi Arabia and get them visas and accommodation and health insurance and right? Leave them there and outsource things to them. Right? This is called a virtual team, but it has again its positives and negatives.
Yes.
Right?
in terms of
So most of the
coordination.
consultants do it this way.
Yes.
Here,
Mhm.
most of the consultants,
Right.
when they get a big job,
Mhm.
what they do, they give, even a company like Samuel Steel,
Mm-hmm.
they make their engineering in India.
Exactly. Right? To save the cost.
They
But
save
what's
the
the downside of it?
Coordination.
Mhm.
Bad coordination. Control.
Communication control. Yes, exactly. If you want to, and the most,
This is
the
a risk.
most, it's a risk. And the thing which I felt most, especially between US and places like India, is time zone differences. Yeah. So when we are up, they're sleeping. When they are up, we're
This
sleeping.
one of the suffer now.
Uh-huh.
I have one company in US
Exactly.
supplying machines.
Yes.
When I send them mail, no reply.
Exactly.
They send me
When they
mail,
send you, no reply
Yes.
from you. This is one of the challenges, the time zone differences. Okay. So that's acquiring the team. Now, to acquire a good team, to be able to choose the best people, you have to be in good relationship with the functional managers, because they're the ones who will give you the approval to take people and use in your project. Okay. Know when you need your resources.
Example.
Functional managers يعني ما احنا بنتكلم عن
This is not first priority for them. This one okay, can be not okay,
Okay.
but it's not our priority.
What do you mean?
Mean,
As what?
If you have a good relation with function manager, but still he has his own better than you. He has his work, he will
Yes.
He
Yes.
will
yes.
give,
So this decision will be from his head
Right.
of some CEO,
Right.
kind of pressure to give you what you want.
Exactly. But is this a good way of doing things, or is it much better to do it in a diplomatic way?
Maybe he also will not give you.
Uh-huh.
If you have a good relation.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the culture.
Yes, he will show at himself on himself.
Yeah.
That's all.
Everybody
مظبوط.
take care
ما
of
بدور شغله يعني.
بس فحتى لو انت في الفتره والاخيره مش حاجه رافع انت.
Okay, so let's say this is the HR manager. He has his staff, the marketing manager, and the engineering manager, and you are the project manager. Okay, in a matrix organization, you need to cut across to take people from all these departments. But to do this, you have to do what first? You have to coordinate with these guys to release these resources to you for the project. So that's why you have to have good relationship with them. If you have a bad relationship with them, huh? Yeah, this is yours. If you have bad relationship with them, okay, for the whole year, and then when you are made project manager, you come to them. صباح الخير باشمهندس. How are you? How are you today? مش كده؟ عاوز حاجة معناها مش كده؟ So you have to always have good relationship with these people. Now even if you have a decision from up, because you are assigned in the project charter as the project manager, but this is not a healthy type of power. By saying the boss told you to release these resources to me.
We will not say him the boss.
Huh?
The boss will say.
The boss will say.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, use him. This is practical way.
Okay, and negotiate for critical resources. So if you want the best mechanical engineer in this department, you have to really work hard to get him, because this guy will not release him for you. He tell you take فلان ده رهيب مهندس خطير قال له هيب انت عاوز مهندس انا هديك احسن
هدية
مهندس.
هدية that is why that is this system is understood by each project. They have to create their own team, and this team will move project to project.
Yes.
This is a healthy way.
Yeah, exactly. Now, from my experience, if I want this guy, he's the star of the show. Okay? And he reports, let's say I want Wahib, and Wahib is reporting to Usama. Okay? So I want Wahib in my project, right? What do you think is the best approach to get Wahib on my project? What would you do? Huh?
It depends about his
Engagement.
If he is cooperative guy or not.
Okay. يعني average guy.
Also,
Usama is an
about
average
he
guy.
has to work with you or no.
Exactly.
Moreover, if he has existing commitments, he has to complete his existing.
Yeah, but he's saying he's the best. He's outstanding. It means he's a successful guy. He's a very talented person.
You can take Wahib, but Wahib cannot give you what you need from you. He can give you only 50% from his capability of doing work. He has 100%, he can do it.
Okay.
But he I'm not, what you said,
He's not motivated.
Yes.
Not, okay. So that's why my question is, what should I do?
Yeah, convincement. يعني أنا this is the requirement for this position. This is the project nature. So we need this guy with these capabilities to cover this weakness.
Exactly. So you talk to who? To his manager?
Right. So
to the top. Okay.
And also it depends upon the project importance.
Right. Exactly. Right. So it's usually from my experience, right? The first thing I do is I talk to the guy himself, but in an unofficial manner. No. Yeah, unofficially.
officially.
Yeah.
المدير انت كلمته ليه؟
Exactly. Let me just do this.
He gives you idea about what is work now and
Exactly. Right. Exactly. So I speak to Wahid not in an official manner. So I just chat to him. So how are things, Wahid? You know what? I'm working on this project. This project is aiming to build the tallest tower. But I don't tell him I want you on my project. I just tell him about the project, right? And this is a huge opportunity, and we're doing this and we're doing that. And we're looking for people now to look at this. So we might talk to you guys and your managers to see to choose the team. So what do? I'm preparing the player. زي الحد لما يكون عاوز يسجل لاعب من فريق ثاني. بتروح للمانجر ولا السي او ولا للاعب في الاول. You go to the player. صح. احنا الاسماعيلي ايه رايك؟
You get this plus.
Right, exactly, right? So this is the first stage, it's not the final stage, it's the first one. Because most probably, if Wahib is convinced, he will put some pressure on his manager to join. Because if he's a brilliant guy, these guys do have some authority. In terms of what? In terms of expert authority. So if Wahib goes and talks to his manager about my project and says, there's this project going on, don't you think it might be a good idea for us to be involved somehow? Right? So I'm using Wahib to put pressure here, plus the pressure from above.
No, why Wahib put pressure to his manager?
Because he want to join the project.
Why?
We want to get more experience, more exposure.
More
Right?
benefits.
Yes, more benefit. I'll tell you, we're actually sending all our electrical engineers to Florida, USA. To have in that case his manager will join. أنا أشتغل معك يا وهيب.
No, first he will say I will work with him part time. It's a good program.
Okay, all right. When you put up a team here as a project team or a project management team, it's very important for that team to have some synergy. So it doesn't mean picking up the best. If you pick up the best from each unit or from each department, you put them in one team, you will be like the Real Madrid team back in the couple of years back, the Galacticos, right? They won nothing, right? They had the best players, Luis Figo, Beckham, Raúl, Zidane, Ronaldo, but they won 0 trophies. Because what? There was no synergy between them.
No chemistry.
Yeah, so you can get the best players in one team and they win nothing. Right? Huh? Like in Zamalek region? Yeah?
عامل زي المزق.
المزة?
مزق
Okay? Right? So sometimes, right? So if you have a project, do you prefer to have people from the same nationality working on this project or different nationalities?
different.
Or it depends?
Different.
Why different?
Stress create competition between people.
Okay.
Using different culture, different environment. This create competition.
Right.
This is the right issue for me.
Okay. And this competition will benefit me in what sense? Performance? In performance, right?
But
Okay.
sometimes, some other times, it's
Same
good to have second
Egypt,
shares.
all
Uh-huh.
Egypt.
Yes.
Right, right.
Or Sudan or
If you see, for example, the workers.
Exactly. So at a labor level,
Yes.
maybe it's better to have people from the same nationality.
Yes.
Especially if they live in the same camp, for
otherwise
example.
they fight.
Right. Right? So it's your call as a project manager. Now, if I'm managing an IT project and I have a team of developers, 12, 15 developers, I'd rather have them from the same country. Right? Because if they're sitting in one room, okay, and 2 of them are Sudanese, 4 are Lebanese, 3 are Egyptians, 5 are from Pakistan, 6 are from India, right? And the 2 Sudanese guys decide to have a breakfast. We have يعني أكلة, a dish called kawal. Kawal. Kawal, أيوة, بالكاف. Okay.
مش كيش يعني.
اوكي والكول ده لما يجيبوه يعني لو دلوقتي الكول في اللحظه دي في الريسبشن تحت في الطابق الارضي احنا بنشم الريحه هنا في الطابق الارضي. So it's a very strong, right? نعم. عباره زي البودينج، ما بيسموها عصيده، بيسموها البودينج. يعني it's made of flour كده، هو بيتعمل في غرب السودان بس ريحته غريبه جدا. ايوه اوكي، لكن رهيب طبعا، بيعمل شغل عجيب جدا جدا اكتر من القصب.
لازم نعرف نصب.
So if they bring this cowl to the room, right? فالباقيين هيكونوا شويه منزعجين يعني. The Lebanese guys عاوزين يسمعوا كده راغب علامه بصوت عالي.
فيروز فيروز
ليه ما بيسمع
فيروز رمضان لما ننزل نصلي المغرب مش طايقين نقعد نصلي المغرب بالشطه والبتاع
بالظبط. Okay. So you have to make a decision on terms of the synergy versus diversity. You have to balance the two. Okay, and في النهاية it's your call, and you have to always make a decision and correct it if it's not right. Okay, you work with competent suppliers. Yes, ensure roles and responsibility اللي هي الرام, and publish the organization chart. يعني لازم the whole team يكون عارف who's who. So once you have your project organization chart, you have to publish it. So you have to give it copy to the client, copy to the consultant, copy to your team members, so everybody should know who's who in the project. Yeah. Okay, especially the reporting lines. Okay. So once the team is on board, I as a project manager need to develop my team. Develop means what? Mainly training. But training in what? If I'm picking the best engineer, the best accountant, the best whatever, so I'm training them on what?
As a team.
Exactly. So team building skills, right? Maybe project management skills.
I train them to work under the system of work, the system of the project.
The scope, the schedule, exactly.
The main thing to work together.
Yes, exactly, right? And this training doesn't mean sending them to training courses and stuff. You as a project manager can coach and mentor your team members, right? So you have to, now what do you use here mainly? We say your interpersonal skills. Because people behave in a way similar to the values they perceive from you as a project manager, right? So if you're the first in the office every morning, They come and you're there. They leave and you're there, right? You walk around, you go to the site, okay? You attend meeting, right? You have your breakfast on the go, right? They follow this behavior, okay?
You come late.
Huh?
You come late.
Exactly, right?
Vice versa.
كبر مقتا أن تقولوا ما لا تفعلوا. So trust. How do we generate trust among team members? How do we get someone to trust us? يعني عامل الثقة. It's a key part in managing a project or in leadership in general. Thank you very much. So trust is derived from when you have an integral behavior. When you have a prudent behavior, means that what you say is what you do, and what you do is what you say. Okay? This is when trust is generated. The moment there is a discrepancy between the two, you lose the trust. And if you lose trust, it's very difficult to get it back. Yes, that's it. Right? Very, very difficult.
Possible.
Huh?
It is
Possible or impossible?
Impossible.
Well, it's not impossible, but it's
Very
difficult.
difficult.
Yeah, very difficult when you lose the trust of someone. Okay, it's very difficult to generate it back, but it's possible, but it won't never be the same. It will never be
That's
the
why
same.
it's impossible.
small
Yeah.
tolerance is there, but as a gentleman, nature, other than the subject,
Mhm.
without this character, you cannot achieve.
Yes, exactly. So this is very important. So when you say, for example, when people talk about with their team members, they discuss a problem, right? Now, when the boss moves in and walks in, the guy changes the wavelength, or he changes whatever he was saying to the team. Here, straight away, there's a drop. Okay. Now, what we say to people is, now say or talk is cheaper than action. It's cheaper and it's easier. صح؟ مش كده؟ So what can you do? You don't have to actually say and talk more and then struggle to bring your action to this level. So what do we say? Always do what? Leave this here. يعني دائما قلل كلامك. Right? And your claims and your talk in order for your action to always exceed your talk or your saying, right? And the term we use here is, okay, it's better to under promise and over deliver. That's a very important lesson in project management. Always, right? Under promise and over deliver. Means what? Mazen, can we please have a raise in our salaries? We want a raise of 1,000 in our salaries. I know I can get a raise of 500, for example, but I'll tell you, I'll do my best, but I can't promise anything. I'll let you know next week. Okay? So I go in there and I get you a raise of 500. And you say, thank you very much, Mazen. But if I tell you, 1,000, ليه يا أخي 1000؟ ما تخليها 2000. إحنا نزيدها 3000. Okay? And you go there and you get a raise of 500, people will, طب ما انت قلت 3000 بس 500, right? So we always get into this habit of under promise and over deliver. Okay, so when you develop your team members, as we said, team building activities, you should always also have a recognition and reward system. If you want to develop the team, because people do things, okay, and they excel and they succeed when there is a reward system in place. So you have to find a recognition and reward system. Means what? If you do well, you get this. If you do bad, you do that. So we don't call it a punishment system. We call it a compliance system. And it's basically a punishment, right? So what is some of your reward system you guys as project managers can create for your team to get them motivated?
Overtime, more respect.
But is it in your control?
Yeah, motivation, our own motivation.
Such as what? Example.
يعني مثلا as a work يعني ممكن اعمل لهم دوميشن يعني زي بروموشن مثلا عاوز يعني عاوز ترقية يعني بالانجلش.
ايه ترقية؟ بروموشن يس.
يعني ارفع مثلا الدرجة بتاعته في البروجكت.
But you can do that as a project manager. Yeah. Exactly. So as a project manager, within your project, you can do things. You can't raise the salary of someone, can you? It's not difficult. It's so difficult, not under your control. But you can do other motivation factors. So Bashmandis mentioned something about
unskilled staff labor. You will make him after some time skilled labor. Skill to, I mean, small formal level to the high level.
Okay. So giving people more responsibility.
Yes, more responsibility.
Versus giving people more money. Which one is more effective?
بالتالي الماني افكتيف اكتر بس مش
على اللونج ران.
ايوه على اللونج ران.
اللونج ران الماني not more effective you can take it.
Okay.
Responsibility for short run. You give him more responsibility, you trust him more.
Right. So which one is more sustainable? Responsibility.
Yes.
So money provides motivation, but only for temporary period. Right? So we call it perks, right? Yeah. So, but responsibility is more sustainable, longer period of time. Because if you give me a message that Mazin, you are one of the pillars of my project. أحد الأعمدة الأساسية في مشروعي. Okay? Automatically, what will this do to me?
Mazin will think that maybe you're serious. This is not what happened. If you take what they need to do. If you take what is a winner. If you don't take what is a winner. Probably I am the winner.
Okay? Now, but money, the problem with money is this. Once you start motivating people through money, they expect that every time.
It will be negative effect also.
Exactly. And this is what we do, unfortunately, in most of our organizations. When money is the motivation factor in organizations, or the factor to keep people in the organization, you are leaving yourself open for what? For other organization to pay more and get your employees. If this is the only factor you're providing me here is money, so if I find better money, I move on. So you have to think of other ways to keep me and keep me motivated. Yeah, so many things.
Taking care of personal issues.
Exactly. I know I met a guy in.
Yeah, this is very important. اللي هي solving personal
business. Exactly. I met this guy in a conference in Scotland. He's British, worked for the same company for God knows what, 25 or 30 years. And he's very brilliant and he's wanted by so many other consultancy firms, but he stayed in this company. And in his presentation, he gave us the reason, the secret of why he stayed in this company for 25 years. And you know what? He said because every year, the company sends him a present and a happy birthday message to him in his birthday, his wife's birthday, and his 4 kids' birthdays for 25 years. His salary didn't change that much. Other people with less experience and certification earn more money, but he stayed there because of that personal touch. So imagine the company sends you happy birthday for your son and a present to your son. How would you feel about the company? Right? There's something special about that, right? So these are the kind of things we need to think about, right? Smart companies.
This also type of motivation, this courses, this training.
Exactly. You feel like the company is investing in you, right? So it's not always money, right? So you have to find ways to do that. Now, if you put the whole team in one room, especially your project management team, this room is known as what? We call it the PMO, but we also call it the war room. So the war room is where your team is co-located. We call it co-location. So when you bring the team in one physical location, we call this co-location, and this room is called war room. Now, is this useful if I can get all the team in one room? of my project?
It depends يعني حاجات individually وحاجات لازم الكل يكون موجود.
Right. So if we have all our offices in one location, in one room, so we can talk to each other, we can discuss things with each other.
This will create psychological effect. You
Uh-huh.
cannot talk often.
Okay.
You cannot highlight.
Right.
You cannot upgrade or
You can gather them in a meeting or something, but better with
Different offices.
not for everybody, maybe by trade, electrical,
Yes.
planning, instruction,
other
and so
this
forth.
will affect.
Okay.
But I see this as a positive sign or a positive because you are sharing with these people to take a decision.
But طيب.
They
But
can
طيب.
take decisions.
Sometimes other than so
Some of the
for
time.
other purpose, okay. For that purpose.
Right. So communication-wise, it's good because there is transparency. I know what the mechanical engineers are working on. I know what these guys. I can see here the drawings. I saw one of the guys talking to the client. So what is going on, right? So it helps in communication, but it takes a very mature individuals to do this because the open space can be very noisy. Right? So unless people are very professional, they can get on the nerves of each other. Right? So you have to have high level of maturity and professionalism.
Tactic.
You take the senior. You make meeting with senior people, not with the small.
No, you mean the open space?
The core team.
The core team, yes. We're talking about the core team. Yeah. The project manager definitely will have a separate office, maybe the team leaders. But I'm talking about the core team.
Core team.
Yes.
You mean the place where they work?
Yes,
The office.
yes.
One office.
In one, not one small office, but I mean one location, open space, where they have all the project plans around the wall, and they have a small place to meet and stuff. Yeah. Maybe in construction project things are different, but in other projects, for example, IT projects, I have seen companies in places like Singapore, for example, where they have one big open space with all the offices round. Okay. In the middle, they have the meeting place, and the meeting place is just a couch and some these things on the ground. They have a small coffee machine there, right? One big TV at the end. So it's a whole, because the place is want to generate innovation, right? So it depends. It's a case by case. You want to do that, right? So that's your developing the project team. Now, whenever you bring people together, human beings, whenever they come together, they do what? The best thing they do is what? When you bring in a group of people together.
Get to know each other.
And then, straight after that, they clash.
Stop.
Yes,
Stop.
exactly. Yeah? So people clash, and that's normal. Okay? And these are the stages, what we say in the team development. People meet, they go through the forming. This is where my name is Mazen, where do you come from? انت بتشجع مين؟ انت ساكن فين؟ انت ايه مش كده؟ انت بتروح لأي حلاق كده يعني. Okay? So this is called forming, where the team members get to know each other. Then people go through a storming stage.
مشروع انا صوت.
Huh?
اقول لك بعد كده مشروع انا صوت.
Okay, so here where conflict starts, right? So we're sitting here. I don't like this room. It's too hot. No, I think it's okay. Don't switch on the AC. No, please switch on the AC. مش عاجبك اطلع برا. Okay, so where you start conflict. This is where the differences between people start to appear. Okay, but then this is a normal stage and phase. Okay, next you move to norming. And norming is where you are focusing on the overall objective, regardless of all the differences. So you know what? I hate you, but you know why I'm here? Because I just want to do this course. So I'm gonna live with you, although I don't like you. وما بستحملك وما بطاقش. Okay? بس you know what? احنا في مشروع واحد خلينا نخلص ومع السلامة. Okay? This is called the norming, right? And then we have the performing. Here where we start accepting each other differences and start trusting each other, and we reach the performing stage. This is where we actually reach the peak of the performance of the team. Okay? So things work like this, and then it goes up like that. Right? Now, this stage where conflict happens is where most project managers go wrong. Because whenever two people come to the project manager with a problem, the project manager tells them, come on guys, grow up. Okay? Why do you always come with problems, right? You are grown up, you are adults. Stop this crap. Stop this kalam al-farigh, كده? But this is a normal stage and it has to happen. And to me, when people have conflict between them, it's a healthy sign to me. Why?
طالما مفيش دم مفيش مشكلة.
Huh?
طالما مفيش دم مفيش مشكلة.
Why is it a healthy sign when you have conflict between people?
Problem will appear.
Okay, so that's one thing. Why are they conflicting? Why are they fighting?
Ideas.
So each one is giving his best.
Yes. Two ideas clashing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because if they weren't clashing, tell you, okay, Shmandis, can we do it this way? And you tell me,
No.
you think we should do it this way? Okay, do it. معناته انت عملت ايه؟
Downsizing.
Exactly. You went to such a stage or level of thinking and capability to not conflict with me. So let's do it this way. Even if I'm here, right? So conflict means that each one is giving their best. So it's good. If people don't conflict in my project for a whole week, I should get worried.
That's it.
If you have no problem, I should get worried. Right? It means no work is being done.
Bring them.
Okay? Or there is some news I don't know.
You will go.
Maybe exactly. Okay?
Yeah.
بيعدوا فيني حاجة. Okay? So that's fine. Okay? Now, when people clash, you as a project manager have some different
Technique.
approach to actually address that conflict. Okay? And these are some of the techniques you as a project manager can adopt. Right? Either confrontation, compromise, smoothing, forcing, or withdrawal techniques. So let's assume we have a problem between two people. I as a project manager opt to do a confrontation between these two people. When do I opt for this? When do you go for confrontation? Means okay, Ahmed قال كده, Osama قال كده, عبد الرحمن قال كده, Mazen قال كده, bring them together. Okay? You do this when the conflict is related to something legal. So if somebody claims that someone has, let's say, there's some forgery, تزوير, اختلاس. One of the girls said, like the girl that said, have a look at my brief, sexual harassment, exactly. Okay? You cannot afford to say, ما خلاص يا أخي ما هو زميلك يعني مش قصده حاجة. لا ما ينفعش.
وريه خلاص.
بس على مرة وعدي خلاص.
Okay? You straight away go for confrontation because there's some legal repercussion to that. Okay? Now, confrontation is the most effective technique. Effective doesn't mean the best, but effective in what? In resolving the conflict. And it kills the conflict في مكانه خلاص. ده قال كده وده قال كده، اوكي مين صح مين غلط انتهى الموضوع.
بس في ما بتفيد ابدا لانه ما فيك تقنع على الشخص هذا بوجهه نظر ثاني، انا قلت لا انا قلت لا انا
لا ما هي مش وجهة نظر، هي بتتكلم عن حاجات.
انت مش بقى منهم، انت مش. وبعدين انت عندك الاثوريتي، انت البي ام يعني هيسمعوا كلامك خلاص. قلت كده بيروحوا كده.
هذا فورسنج صرنا
ايه لا ما هو يتكلم احنا عن الحاجات الليجل اللي فيها ليجل كومبوننتس كونفرونتيشن اكزاكتلي.
الاثنين زعلانين مع بعض تصلحهم.
ايوه بالظبط، احنا هنيجي للثاني. ايوه
بس لازم
الثاني. ايوه بالظبط. Exactly. Okay. So then we have compromise. Once we get to a stage where two people are standing in front of you, you can go for compromise or smoothing or forcing. Let's look at forcing. Forcing means I smoke in the office. You don't like smoking in the office. Okay. So project manager decides Mazen stop smoking in the office. So this is called forcing. In the office جوا المكتب. مش برا. كيف؟
If the master manager smoke.
If what?
Project manager smoke.
Also smoke.
دي مشكلة من force
He can smoke, but he can force others not to smoke.
Okay, so this is called forcing when you go with one person over the others. Okay, we call it forcing. Then we have the other two, which is much better. in terms of effectiveness. Compromise and smoothing, they're both very, very close together. Compromise is coming to a common ground, halfway. So انت تنازل شوية وانت تنازل شوية, let's meet in the middle. Okay? So if I like to hear مثلا فيروز, okay, or he likes to listen to, let's say, الشعراوي مثلا, تقول لي الشعراوي, okay, right? So ممكن نوصل الكومبرومايز استمع لإنشاد ديني مثلا, يعني حاجة in the middle, okay? So this is called compromise, where each person will have to let go of something to meet in the middle ground. Smoothing, when you're trying to kill the reason of the problem. Okay, so de-emphasizing the differences between the two. Very difficult to do, because conflict, we talk about now conflict management, no? زمان UN كان بيتكلم عن conflict resolution. كان عندهم this term زمان UN, conflict resolution. And they realized you cannot resolve conflict. So now they're talking about conflict management. Okay?
You can manage this conflict.
Yeah, because conflict will never go away. صح? Very difficult. يعني now we talk about
It's impossible.
yeah, exactly. Very difficult, very difficult. Okay, it will stay there, but you can manage it, you can accommodate. زي poverty مثلا, برضو كان عندهم حاجة اسمها poverty eradication. Eradication means what? To wipe it out. Okay, now they talk about poverty accommodation, because poverty will never go away. Okay, so this is smoothing, and the final one is sometimes is a fee. Let's say Bashmandis Suleiman مع Bashmandis Usama, they're good friends, and they've been friends for years. They studied the same university, they live close to each other, their families are friends, and there's a clash between them. And I realize there's a clash between them. I opt to withdraw as a project manager. I don't interfere. Why? Because most probably they will work it out. It will just be a couple of days for them to work things out. يعني I don't go in there وزيد الموضوع شعلله يعني. كده؟
سيد النفوس.
بالضبط. If you do this, هم هيعاندوا أكتر. ليه؟ لأنهم هينظروا يعني هيقول look at this situation. يعني إحنا وصلنا مرحلة من الكلاش, we reach such a level where Mr. Project Manager عامل فيها عاوز يحل الموضوع. Okay, so it gets worse. So it might be wise to step back and just let things work themselves out. This is called withdrawal. But again, withdrawal doesn't mean be passive. مش سلبية منك.
مونيتور.
ايوه بالظبط. exactly. مش سلبية منك انك يا اخي ما forget it. لا انا ما لا. You withdraw because of you have
Actually, you're attendant.
a plan.
But you should aware that
You are exactly. You're aware about it.
You're aware of it.
Exactly. Okay, so that's team development. Right, let's look now into an important concept here, which is recognition and rewards. So we mentioned about having something in place, but reward and recognition is very important to tie these things to performance. So it doesn't happen just like that, just because you like the people, just because the weather is nice, just because, right? And it has to be based on results of a pre-established evaluation process, so a pre-agreed standards of performance, and reward the outcomes that are within the team members' control. That's very important. So when you call the team and tell them, I'm going to give you a reward, you have to give them this reward based on outcomes or results achieved, which was within their control. Like what?
Like an activity. You have to complete within that specified period.
Exactly.
You will reward
They
them.
done it. Exactly. You reward them. Right? So give me an example of an activity or something which is not under their control, which people usually reward us for. For example. So we said we reward people based on the outcomes that were under their control. So something they influenced to achieve. But sometimes companies award or reward employees for things they don't have control over. Like what?
يعني كمل 10 سنين عمل بالشركة مثلا.
اوكي او الشركه نفسها مثلا وصلت العيد ال50 مثلا سو راتب سنه للموظفين مثلا راتب شهر اوكي
After you completed years appreciation.
Exactly. Right? No, that's fine. This is something else, but I'm talking about other things. But I'll give you an example. مشروع عندنا كان في زراعة سكر النيل الأبيض. It's a sugar project. So we grow sugar canes. قصب. Okay? So one day the CEO sent us an email and saying 1 month salary for all the employees as a reward for what? The good season. The good season سببه إيه؟ إنه كان rainfall was good. So it was a good season المحصول وكذا وكذا. Exactly. I was the project planner. I sent back an email to him saying I will not accept this reward. He called me to his office and he said انت خلاص جاي يعني الفلسفة بتاعتك دي ليه؟ قلت يا اخي لأنه simply if you reward me for rain this season next season if there's no rain ممكن تخصم مني. فأنا I don't want to be rewarded for something which I don't have control over. So because if I accept this today, it means next year you send me an email saying مخصوم شهر من كل موظف because the rainfall was bad. نفس الكونسيبت مش كده؟ ف I will not accept this because next season I don't want you تخصم مني. ايه؟
قعدت السنة بعدها؟
لا بعدها قعدت زي اسبوعين كده.
You stay there in the company.
Right? So my message to him was, you know, you have to reward people based on outcomes under their control.
بس انت كنت مقتنع بهذا الكلام ولا كنت؟
لا بس حركة كده بتاعت PMP بس.
كان لسه مذاكر هناك.
كنت صغير ومتهور. No, I sent him يعني I explained to him the concept. لا هم لغوا الموضوع كله.
عشان كلها
خدت شوية دعوات.
انت خدت شوية دعوات. ربنا يبارك لك.
سبحان الله في ناس كده توقف المراكب لسه.
مين النهارده ده؟
ايوه
يعني خد الفلوس.
بيقول لك احيانا ده فاش.
الشهر الجاي بقى.
تشتري ولا ترجع المرة تشتري كمان.
Okay. Finally, when you reward people, okay, when you reward people, consider the cultural differences. This is very important. If you have a French project manager, for example, and he wants to reward people, he will send people champagne, bottle of champagne, for example. Right? Now, this is culturally. Exactly, right? We have people, right, especially Europeans, when they're rewarding, for example, local girls, women, UAE national girls, they work but they don't shake hands, for example, right? So simple things like this you have to take into account, the cultural differences. Some things are not acceptable between religions, between حتى culture, مش كده؟ يعني احنا عندنا مثلا حتى في within the Muslims and the Arab community, right? يعني it happened to me a lot before, يعني when I was in the UK. I had a friend, an Egyptian friend of mine, okay, very good friend, محمد اسمه, we studied من المدرسة مع بعض يعني. For whenever we walk in the street, I talk to him and then I'll touch his neck. يا ابني ما ايه ده؟ وانا اقول له يا محمد في ايه؟ عادي. لا انت بتديني على قفايا ولا ايه؟ فدي is an insulting act in your culture. In our culture ولا حاجة. It's nothing. Right? So you have to ممكن تشتغل مع شباب السودانيين. انا شو عندي؟ روح لي مرة يقول لي ازيك يا معلم وراني.
كل ما تقصدي ما حد ظبطه.
Also there's different cultural words.
صح.
In some
words,
yes.
in body language, in signs, so many
This
things.
word is familiar in our country.
ايوه
Airbox.
ايوه
This is familiar. In Kuwait this is other issue.
صحيح صح.
مكوى.
المكوى يعني البطن.
انا عارف
يمكن يصير لا صحيح يمكن يصير
صح. السعوديين برضه مكوى. مكوى صح.
انا ماشي المكوى كويس. دوس على الحرب وبتاع. كويس.
ايوه
بس بالمكوى ولا بعد المكوى؟
صح. يديك العافيه مثلا بالسوداني يعني يديك الصحه، يديك العافيه في المغرب العربي يعني الموت. العافيه الموت
والله.
اوكي. ففي حاجات كثيره يعني زي دي. اوكي. في احنا عندنا في السودان يعني الاماراتيين عندهم كلمه اذا الشخص متلاعب يعني بتاع لعب وحركات ولف ودوران بيقول لك ده لوتي. ده لوتي. اوكي تمام. احنا عندنا في السودان بالطاء
لوتي.
ايوه بالظبط. فانا طبعا جيت الامارات فاليوم في الميتنج
It's banned actually.
what
بس
لوتها
حرام.
ايوه بالظبط. الامارات حرامي بتاع لف ودوران. احنا في الميتنج اللواكع يسموها. كثير قاعدين في الميتنج في الهيد اوف سبورت سيرفيس اسمها زيون العام يعني ست محترمه يعني. بنتكلم في الميتنج في الامارات في دار الست هيد اوف سبورت واحنا بروجكت مانجر بتاع. فقلنا له يا اخي مش عارف فلان ده يا اخي سيبوه ده لوتي. انا طبعا
هي بقت
كده عادي يعني. في جنبي كان واحد كابتن عالي سوداني يعني طول قال لي لا دي مش بتاعتهم دي واحده. Even body language this if you do this in the Far East دي يعني شتيمه.
لا ده ستوب.
ايوه لا بس شتيمه
كده.
ايوه كده شتيمه زي كده. في الفار ايست يعني في تايلاند كده.
فار ايست
عندنا
لا في امريكا كده يعني اوكي.
عندنا
كده طوالي تتحبس كده نفس الشيء كده اوكي في بعض البلدان يعني اسهو دي نبذه يعني في بعض البلدان. المساطيل عارفين المساطيل؟ جماعه اللي بيشربوا. فقال واحد ماشي في الشارع وقال له عارفين ايه ده؟ قال لي يا اخي ده يعني اوكي لا يعني اسهو لا يعني ثلاثه. قال لي لا مش عارفين ده لا قال لي ده يوم الثلاث. كيف انا قال السبت الحد الاثنين والثلاث.
هو مفطور بقى.
Okay, so managing the team. Okay, so managing the team is again something that happens with development. So you develop and you manage. Managing here concerned with managing conflict, giving a performance appraisal, observation and conversation. This is an important technique. Because if you want to manage your project team, as we said, the best thing is doing or leading by example. Right? Observation and conversation means you have to be available to your team members. You have to be around. You're not sitting there 2-3 secretaries to get through to you. You have to be there. You walk around. You observe the work. You go to the site. You talk to people. It's a very effective technique to use for managing the team. Okay, we looked at the conflict management. So managing the project team, you need to establish good communication, not just between you and the team members, but within the team members themselves. So I can be a very popular project manager. Okay, everybody loves me. So everybody here can talk to me, I talk to them, they like me, I like them. Okay, but it's more important to have what? To have these guys talk to each other as well. يعني ما تكون انت بس you're just a popular person and then huge problems here. Right? So you have to make sure that there is a communication between the team as well. Okay? monitor the performance of the team on an ongoing basis, not just monthly report, or it has to be ongoing. Consider having a quality audit. Quality audit on what? On the team performance. So when we say quality or audit, it means we have to get someone from where? From outside the organization to come in and assess. Exactly. Okay? Manage conflict within the team. Manage conflict within the team. أي مشكلة, go to HR, go to CEO, go to no. Always try to work out things within your small family first. Let's try to work it out before escalating, and establish an issue log to track and assign project. So it's like a project diary. It's like a log on what is happening, because you will use this later on the lessons learned report. Okay? Okay, so what do we have next? Communication. Anybody? Communication. انت كنت ايه يا باشمهندس؟
Communication.
HR. طيب مين كان communication؟ لسه شرحناه. طيب مين procurement؟ أنا. Procurement? Okay. So let's talk about procurement.
البروكيورمنت أول هي adjustment يعني adjustmentation للgoods والresources الأول والservice تمام from outside.
So you have conduct procurement and control procurement to close procurement. مش كده؟ بعد ما احنا عملنا ايه في البلان, remember? So we've signed, we've prepared the proposals, حطينا criteria. Now in conduct procurement, what do we do? In this stage في execution. بنعمل ايه؟
نعمل meetings.
So we send the proposals to suppliers.
بنعمل analysis. يعني بنحصل الكوتيشن، بنعمل analysis ونعمل meeting. تمام. بنعمل proposal للchange، بنغير تغييرات مثلا.
Okay. So these meetings we do with the suppliers. What do we call these meetings? To clarify, مش كده? Or before. يعني احنا we haven't signed a contract yet. صح؟
صح.
Yes.
Negotiation يعني.
Technical meeting.
Negotiation.
But we do something called bidders conference. What does that mean, bidders conference? What do we do in the bidder conference?
Negotiation على the scope of work, على prices, على
negotiation or the clarification? Clarification. مش كده? So they have the proposal in the bidder conference. They get a chance to ask for clarification, but in front of everyone. مش كده? So what if a supplier send you an email telling you البند رقم كده 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 مش واضح, can you please explain it to me?
صح.
What would be your action?
This is clarification.
Yes.
Or a question and answer مثلا. I have to answer. I have to clarify.
So you answer to all. Thank you very much. To all bidders. Exactly. So you collect all the questions, you answer them all, and you push them forward. Between
كل one of them information is keeping a meeting.
between all the comparison يعني compare with who? You send it to all.
This three vendors.
Okay.
I will give him this vendor ask me some information. I will give him and give this to why to can make comparison sheet between these three in same project.
أنا مش فاهم الكومباريسون شيت exactly where does it come in?
Is this after quotation?
After full filling.
He will give you quotation. Correct.
Okay. we're not talking about quotation.
No.
ما في quotation here.
أنا
We're
بتكلم
still
على
at the stage
justification.
before.
غالبا واحد بيبعت سؤال
عن البروبوزل نفسه.
بنجمع at the same time بنجمع كل الكويشنز
ايوه.
بنطلع answer واحد لكل الناس.
Exactly. So everybody would know مين سأل عن ايه وتكون كل المعلومات.
ودي بتبقى في مصلحتي انا to save time. واخد بال حضرتك ان انا اوحد.
What's the conclusion for this?
تقريبا في مصلحة المشروع ان
احنا لسه ما فيش اختيار.
ان انا بوحد الاسامبشن، بوحد الاكسكلوجن، بوحد كل
عشان البروبوزلز بعدين تكون كلها on the same way.
مبنى عشيتي اتفضلوا.
You can make a
لا ما لها علاقة بالسلكشن لكن at this stage. So let's say you guys receive the proposal.
لسه في justification.
ايوه انت عندك سؤال اوكي related للبروبوزل وعشان احمد عنده سؤال اوكي so you ask me a question about بند معين اوكي I can't answer you directly. If I answer you I have to give باشمهندس احمد a copy of your question and my answer as well. So when you prepare your proposals you all have the same information.
This be able to project? No. To take what is between take from the interpretation. What I can do to make comparison sheet between these three values.
انت الكومباريزن شيت دي
ده موضوع تاني.
ايوه ماشي بس ما كل ده
انت بتضطر انت مش عارف انت ممكن تبعت لهم المعلومات وما تاخدش منهم حاجه.
هيكمل في صوت
انت بتجمع معلومات المشروع.
انت عملت الاول بلان
كل من دولار لحد 50 مليون كله
خاطبتهم على
It's a framework. So you can use it for any project. You feel it's only suitable for small projects?
No, it will not be useful for small projects.
Okay. So that's why I'm saying in smaller projects you don't have to use all 47 words. Yes, that's what we said in day one. You can only choose 12 or 13 of this and that's it. Yeah. So that's why it's flexible. Get it?
خلاص حضرتك بقى احنا عملنا الاناليسيس، عملنا الريتنج، عملنا اليو ام لي. Okay.
You receive the proposals now. Then you do what? You apply the criteria and you choose a supplier. You sign a contract, right? And this is the conclusion of conduct procurement. So here we have a contract signed.
Okay.
Right? Now when we come to motor control procurement, what do we do here?
We have another point.
Revision بقى بنعمل update للدوكيومنتس بتاعتنا حضرتك.
And most importantly, that here the contractor is starting to deliver work. So what do we do in control? Payment. مش كده؟ So payment, system.
down payment, monthly payment يعني ماشي بس لو رجعت يعني. It's okay but ده normal procedure.
Yes, exactly. It's normal payment.
لا أنا بقصد إيه بعد ما خلاص أنا سويت البروكيومنت بعمل update بقى لللوك بتاعي او البروكيومنت بلان بتاعتي اللي في متغيرات في تشينجز حصلت فبعمل ابديت بقى للدوكيومنتيشن بتاعتي.
Right. But during the project work, how do you pay the contractor? Based on what?
هي زي ما حضرتك اتفضلت الاول في داون بيمنت بعد كده في مانثلي بيمنت اجينست البرفورمانس
شهادات الانجاز signed completed payment. إذا في أي تغيير بنسمي التغييرات إيه؟ نسميها إيه؟ change orders مش كده؟ ولازم يكون في توقيت الإمارات ولازم يكون في system legal system صح؟ يكون في legal system right؟ ده كله في الكونتراكت أو في الكنترول procurement.
في الابديت بقى
أيوه
يعني في حاجات حصل فيها changes variations زي ما حضرتك اتفضلت.
بالظبط.
يعني
إذا في تقصير في البرفورمانس إذا في lack of performance
في السايت
أيوه في شغل الكونتراكتور يعني في تقصير how do we deal with it؟
هو المفروض في الكونتراكت ان هو يفولو السكيدول بتاعي، المفروض ان هو بيبقى فيه زي بينالتيز تحددت يعني الاسبوع الاولاني الشهر الاولاني مثلا ساعات يقول لك not exceeding 10% او كذا بالك ازاي؟ في ستيبس معينه واخد بال حضرتك وبعد كده ممكن انا الحق عندي بعد موافقه الاستشاري والكلاينت ان انا استبعده واعمل له ريبليسمنت.
So all this work is done by a guy called the contract administrator.
صح.
It's very important to have this person. ليه؟ If you have usually at one time into PBC, how many contractors do you have working with you at one time in different projects? يعني التوتال دلوقتي في اللحظة دي how many contractors do you have?
لو نتكلم على اللونج ليد ايتمز مثلا ده بيبقى ممكن من 20 ل 30 اللونج الميجر ايتمز اللونج ليد
من 20 ل 30 كونتراكتور
كده تحت منهم في
بتتكلم عن سبلاير يعني المشروع.
ايوه الكونتراكتور يعني بيشتغلوا شغل بالنيابه عنه.
سب كونتراكت ولا سبلاير؟
لا سب كونتراكتور.
لا مش كتير.
كم؟
لا في يعني فاكر
5 6 7
Yeah. Okay.
يعني انا اصلا وانس عن خليني انا قصدي ايه اللونج ليد ايتمز دي بيعملها سب كونتراكتور او سبلاير دول عاده بيبقوا من 20 ل 30 ايتم
بس في بينك وبينهم كونتراكت
سواء سب كونتراكتور او سبلاير في سبلاير ده ابلاي وفي سبلاير بس تحت منهم في حاجات اللي هي دوميستيك سب كونتراكتورز دول المقاولين الصغيرين الفرعيين زي الخرسانات زي الستيل فورم وورك الستيل الكلام ده.
So this is where controlling procurement.
This contract may be plus, maybe minus. It is depending on market.
Okay, plus or minus what?
This main contract may be 1,000 riyal. 1,000 riyal.
Okay.
This plus or minus may be 20%.
The value of the contract, yeah. Yes.
We should to make update for this market.
There is control of cost. Chapter finished.
I have to discuss something regarding
This
this.
ممكن المهندس عبد الحميد عايز يحصل يحصل بعد كده adjustment مثلا نتيجه للابديت بتاع البروكيورمنت في
هو ده اللي احنا بنتكلم عن العلاقه
بعمل
بين
سبيشال ريفيو او الكلام دوت.
هي دي العلاقه اللي بين الكوست وبين التندر وبين المشتريات.
I want to say what sometimes most of our suppliers or most of our vendors don't accept a clean condition until purchase order or existing tax.
Right.
Most of them.
Right.
So how we can avoid
Such circumstances.
such a delay of supply of this vendor? How we can solve it?
Bank loan.
No. We will approve from the consultants 3 or 4 vendors with the same material with the same specs.
Right.
So I will give you as example 200 piece, 200,000 piece from door handle to provide.
Okay.
But your capability maybe you cannot do it.
Right.
But you convince me that you will do it. I will approve another supplier
Okay.
and I will share the quantity between you and me. So I have two suppliers
Yeah.
approved from the consultant. So the material I'm sure that will be delivered at the same time.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
avoid
That's
the
a good
delay of
technique.
that. Because most of them not approved any claim condition in the contract.
Okay.
Most of them.
Yes. So it's a technique you use.
Yes.
In order to assure.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Okay, so that was saying the contract administration has to be centralized in order to be able to see the big picture. Because if only HR deal with some contractors and they sign contract with them, and then marketing deals with some contractors, you might have a contractor damaging you more than once, right? Especially for big companies. But if it's centralized, they have one blacklist, for example, of contractors. Even if they approach different departments, they will be identified as, oh, these guys don't work with them, and that comes as part of controlling. Finally, the final part is closing the contract, and closing the contract is just as important as signing the contract. Okay, it's very important. Now, how do you close a contract? What's the final procedure of closing the contract, or the procurement we call it here? What's the process involving closing the contract? Finalizing and releasing the contract and telling them thank you very much, now you can go.
Handing over.
So handing
acceptance
over.
by client.
The final acceptance. Who's the client in this case? Us,
Yes.
BBC, because they are our subcontractors. right? So they deliver the final, we accept.
accounts.
Exactly. But we usually keep some money, or we keep part of the money.
Retention money.
Exactly.
Also there is a maintenance period.
Exactly. So all these things has to be finalized. Sometimes the contractor or subcontractor will borrow a laptop from you, or maybe a TV to put on site, or this small stuff. You have to make sure all these things are returned, okay, and then you release them.
بس خلينا في عندنا confusion. البروكيورمنت يعني في المعنى عندنا المفهوم بتاعنا دورها بينتهي بإيشوينج البورشيز اوردر او الكونتراكت اجريمنت.
Right.
خلاص البروكيورمنت كده دورها انتهى. بيجي بعد كده دور مدير المشروع.
ايوه
بالظبط. في الفولو اب والبروجريس والبيمنت والكلام دوت.
Right. Exactly.
فهي اللي احنا فاهمينه انه كلوز بروكيورمنت خلاص بعد ما يطلع بورشيز اوردر.
لا الكلوز بروكيورمنت هنا بعد ما you deliver the service.
الشيء ده الشيء ده المشروع حقك.
You have also quality control there to check the material, the right material available.
Okay, خلينا نتكلم عن النقطة دي because it's important. So in your environment, closing procurement means what you said.
Issuing purchase order and success. خلاص.
Okay, so the contract is signed.
I will tell you our procedure. The issues of purchase order is in four parts. Copy will go from the financial department.
Okay.
Copy will go to the project manager. Copy will go to the vendor itself. Okay, and copy will keep it.
Okay.
Immediately, when the financial department, as soon as you receive the purchase order, for the payment is mentioned, okay, it is by LC.
Okay.
They will open LC.
Okay.
They will contact the project manager, let the vendor give us the bank details.
Right.
They will open LC.
Right.
Once they open LC, then the relation is not between the project manager
and exactly. So this is you close the conduct procurement process. So this conduct procurement is closed at this stage. The procurement has been conducted. Okay. Now we have a contract signed. Now your project manager's role is here. So that's why these are your project managers' roles and responsibility. So here, who controls the procurement? Project manager. Who closes the procurement process? Project manager.
Not procurement.
Yeah, no, project manager. But you still have to go back to them because there's some legal issues here and payments to be made maybe.
It's mentioned in the paper, in the document.
Yeah. But what about the contractors you have where you still have to continue paying them? Not one-time payment like the LSC. مش في نوع contractors you have to pay them بالإنجاز.
Yes.
مش كده؟ So this continues. مش كده؟ هتستمر.
Project manager.
Exactly. That's why we have these processes for the project manager. We'll take the break.
I agree with you, sorry. I agree with you regarding the procurement closing step. When I start with initial acceptance for the project.
Okay.
When I make initial acceptance, I will not go back again to procurement to issue
Yes, exactly. Okay, so we'll take a break عن الصلاة now, 15 minutes. When we come back, باقي لنا control risk المهندس إيهاب and who else? لا نسيت ازاي؟
عندي مشوار بعد الصلاة.
and stay home.